The Wednesday week is sponsored by the Riverside Cafe, new outside bar now open on match days.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. Mike Hunt. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Rexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble with saving that.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very well welcome to the Wednesday Week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line, first of all, we have Mr. Marriott. Jamesy, how been? How the devil are you?
I'm pretty good. Before we go any further, can we talk about Fulham at home?
Yay!
I had to get it in there. It's done now. We can forget about it.
As you heard on the line, Mr. Fudge, how the devil are you? Oh boy.
I'm all right. Apologies if there's any background noise you can hear for the first part of this podcast. I'm taking a lovely walk through a park, and there's a circus next to it. So, as it stands right now, I'm not the only odd one out around here.
You're taking a walk in a park at sort of 9:30 in the evening.
Do you have a grey Mac on?
No, not one of them walks. That's not my Wednesday night thing.
And of course, Mr. Davies, how the devil are you? All been?
I'm really well, thank you very much. I'm just, if you tuned in a couple of weeks ago, I was in France. You knew I was a little worse for wear on French cider. Well, I'm starting on French cider again tonight, so we'll see how we go on throughout the pod.
All sorts of bad things could happen. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, our sausage fest is once again broken. Victoria, my darling, how the devil are you?
Oh, I love a good sausage fest, my lord. I'm all right. Are you?
We've seen the videos, my sweet.
You were in them.
I'm proud to be as well. Right then, ladies and gents, let's crack on, shall we? Because it is a very, very exciting podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Wednesdays have popped into the playoffs for the season.
Hey!
How fantastical is this? Brilliant. Now, let's be honest, perfectly honest. If we'd have had this conversation 2 months ago, would you guys be confident we would get into the playoffs at that point?
No. I've got no wit to retort to that. Just a big fat no on that one, I'm afraid.
It must be said, Fudge, that you have been a little bit sceptical of the ones of this season, but are you starting to feel it all, boy? Are you starting to get that?
Sceptical? He's been a dick. He's been a right knob for the last month.
Oh, we're back again.
It's like Fudge has PMT, but rather than just having like a week out of every month, he just puts them all together at the end of the football season.
No, I tell you what it is. It's one of them. I can't change my attitude. I'm a superstitious type, James. You see, you know what I mean. So if I stop slagging everybody off, then you never know what's going to happen. They might go, "It's all right. Fudge is off our back. We can take our foot off the gas a little bit." You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure Kieran Westwood is sat listening to this right now and goes, "Do you know what? If Dan Fudge says we're all right, then we're all right. I'm not going to worry. I'll not even put my gloves on."
I'm with Fudge. I'm superstitious too. It's like singing songs about places in London before you actually get there. The only time to sing those songs is when you're actually there. That's my superstition.
To be fair, you've grumpy old git points as well at this point, haven't you, Richie Albin? Last couple of weeks, you've had a little moan in there.
Yeah, I like a little moan every now and then.
Is that on the Sausage Fest videos, Albin?
That's on there too, yes. It's all one in the background. That's me.
I think we've all had our worries about this, haven't we? But it has to be said, it has all come good. Our place is now secured, and we can have a lovely final match at the end of the season, can't we? But before we have a little waffle about that, let's have a little chat about the Ipswich game as well, because although the scoreline was slight, the game, I thought, was all Wednesday, wasn't it?
If it was a boxing match, it would have been stopped a heck of a lot earlier than 90 minutes, particularly the second half. It was almost embarrassing. Like, it was just wave after wave after wave. Ipswich offered nothing at all. And I was really concerned about that game because I thought, he'd rested something like 9 players or something when they played Rotherham. And I thought, it's Mick McCarthy. He's really going to go out to all out to try and disrupt our path to the playoffs. And maybe he did, and maybe they're just really crap. maybe that's the problem. That Ipswich just really are rubbish because they offered very, very little, and the scoreline should have been a heck of a lot higher. It was just a combination of a bit of luck, the fact that they put a lot of men behind the ball, and whatever. It doesn't matter, does it? One goal did the trick. I was questioning whether or not it was going to come when that Ross Wallace shot comes, rebounding off the post and almost across the front of the goal. You just start to wonder, God, is this going to happen? But cometh the hour, cometh the man, Kieran Lee.
James, I've got to ask because, I wasn't there. I listened to it on wireless, and it sounded like, and I have to say, I've been one of his biggest critics this season, but it sounded like Barry Bannon had a chuffing, brilliant game. Is that right?
Yeah, man of the match for me by a mile. He was everywhere, and he was brilliant, and he ran the midfield. And I don't know if it's something to do with Kieran Lee playing there as well, whether or not it gives him confidence. I don't know what that effect is, but it was like the Bannon of old. He was running Barry the show, and he was everywhere. He was everywhere.
See, it's funny you say that because they interviewed him the other night on Football Heaven. It just so happened I caught it on the drive home. I don't often listen during the week for many obvious reasons, but apparently, they interviewed him and they were saying, "Oh, how do you feel with Kieran Lee back?" And he actually didn't sound happy about the whole situation. He was like, "Oh, he's our best player, and he's so underrated and whatever." He was like, "But I have to play defensive and he sounded quite miserable about it." And I was thinking, "Oh God, what's Saturday going to bring?" But actually, it sounded like he had a brilliant game.
Come on, Vic. Me and you have interviewed Barry Bannon.
That is true. True.
What's it like having your parents watch you at every game, Barry? Is like, it's all right, yeah. So it is. That's Irish, isn't it? Shit. Edit that out.
I'm going to say what Irish said, didn't he?
Yeah, but you are Irish, James, don't forget. So.
I am Irish for a day, yeah, yes. But yeah, Bannon was top-notch. To be fair, everyone had a good game. There wasn't anyone that played even remotely badly. Everyone looked really good, and it was a really good team performance. It's a shame it wasn't 8-0 because I think we'd have come away feeling quite justified at that. 1-0 makes it look like it was a close game, and it really wasn't.
What? So all them chances, and we've only come away 1-0. Bloody rubbish! It's rubbish! Bloody rubbish!
There we go. I'm just lining it up for you now, Fudge.
Yeah, you line them up, I'll swing them out the park. Yeah, that's it.
I do need to mention as well, obviously watching the game back as I did, I thought Tom Lees had a cracking game as well. Everything that came into that box, every header one, everything, he was brilliant. And we've not mentioned him a huge amount this season, have we? Obviously had that tremendous season where everybody noticed everything he does. Then he had a bit of an iffy spell, but the last couple of games, I think he's just been immense, hasn't he?
He's another player, isn't he, that is back to the player that we know and love. And it's rare that Tom Lees has an off day, isn't it? I'm trying to think back if there's been any games this season where he's been a little bit iffy, and I'm kind of struggling, to be honest. He's our rock, isn't he? And I would be surprised if he's not, the future club captain. And I think he's really turning into a leader on the pitch as well. And you're dead right. He was phenomenal again on Saturday. As everyone was, really. Like I say, it feels wrong kind of picking out one person or two people for praise because everyone was really good.
Has anybody noticed just how hench Tom Lees has got, by the way, over the last 6 months? His arms are as big as my bloody legs. I'm pretty sure when we signed him, he was one of them skinny-looking kids, that look like he'd sell you pegs in a pub. You know what I mean? But then no, he just seemed. It's like him and Jose Semedo just do nothing else but just do arm day. You know what I mean?
I've got a right arm like his. My left's nothing, nowhere close, but my right one.
That's all them Sausage Fest videos, Rich.
My theory is that Tom Lees has eaten Lewis McGugan, and that's why he's nowhere near the team. He just it was a bit peckish in pre-season, and he's eaten him, and that's he's put on a bit of weight.
Do you reckon they've run out of weights at Middlewood Road and just given him Irby Emanuelson for one arm and Sugu for the other?
Sugu's not there. He's not.
That's what they want you to think, Rich.
Just check your Snapchat; you'll be able to see wherever he is.
I'm going to say checking his Snapchat and his Instagram. He's all over the shop. Always somewhere warm.
Of course, we can't talk about a football match without talking about at least one fantastic save that Westwood has done, and this one was no exception, was it? It was a wonderful double punch diving marvellousness that wouldn't have been out of place on Street Fighter. I thought it was a fantastic save yet again from Mr. Westwood. Are we going to get through a game where he doesn't just save our bacon?
Come on, hang on. You've got to be fair here. It was a dead simple routine save. He just made it look super dramatic by punching it.
Double punch.
He barely had to move to get to that ball. He could have caught that dead easy.
No, he couldn't. He needed a double punch super save. I'm going to keep saying double punch because it's lovely. I like it.
James, are you taking notes out of my book here? Are you are you being the Dan Fudge of the episode? Is that what you're doing?
So have I just stolen one of the things that you were going to talk about there? I bet you were going to do it a different way, though, don't you? Rather than me, I just nonchalantly point out, well, he probably could have caught it. You'd be, bloody Westwood, bloody rubbish. Not catching. If that had fallen to one of those players and we'd have lost that game, it'd be his fault. I'd be docking him a week's wages for that.
I think what I've got written here is 1-foot cameras is what I've written.
Yeah.
And rightly so, he deserves to have a couple for the cameras, bless him. He's been an absolute superstar. We've seen various sort of Twitter and online groups giving Mr. Westwood a player of the year as well, which obviously we'll come on to a little bit later too, and bloody well deserved as well, absolutely. Does have to be said that Mick McCarthy, until that game, had never lost whilst managing the club against Wednesdays. 14 meetings we've had against that lovely professional Yorkshireman, to coin a phrase from Fudge, and I think he was probably a little bit shocked, wasn't he?
Did he do a post-match interview? I didn't really listen to it.
He did a post-match interview where he said something along the lines of
grumpy and a bit groany, and did he speak at an octave that only dogs could hear?
It was a little bit Mick about the whole thing. He essentially apologised that they hadn't entertained their fans for the whole season, etc., etc., etc. All the rest of the usual nonsense. But while we are sort of getting rid of the hoodoos that Wednesday do so well, again, that was the 6th straight win in a row, which has not happened for 24 years, boys and girls. 6 straight wins.
Some of our nemesis.
Nemesi.
Thank you guys. Yeah, that sounds good.
Nemesis is a good word, isn't it?
Yeah. Derby, Warnock, McCarthy. We've
absolutely
done more recently, haven't we? So.
Do you know why? Yeah. I know why. I can tell you the reason why now. I've got to hold my hand up because, if we'd have messed up the playoffs, it would be my fault. Because earlier this season, I bought 2 new pairs of trainers and I wore them to a few games and we didn't win any of them. And I went back to the trainers that I wore last year and we've won 6 in a row since I went back to last season's trainers. So it would have been my fault if we'd have messed things up. However, the flip side of that is it's completely and utterly down to me that we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There is that. What?
All credit to me.
Haven't you got some lucky pants as well, James? Didn't you wear them in the run-in last year? Was it you? Or
yeah, that's got nothing to do with luck. I just a dirty kid. I just don't change my pants.
That's just running out of aerial.
What trainers did you have on at Wembley, though, Jammers?
Oh, I can't remember that.
Yeah, you can't remember much of the day, to be fair. Yeah. What are we talking about?
We still recording?
Just talking about mentioning my controversial theory. I didn't want to say on the pod because I will get lambasted for this, but I'm happy to say it now. So, you've got sugar cubes, right? And you're piling up your sugar cubes and you're balancing them one on top of the other.
Are you balancing them on a cat's foot?
If you'd like me to, yeah.
I saw a video on Facebook today that was somebody balancing sugar cubes on a cat's foot. So when somebody says balancing sugar cubes, I've just got a cat sat there with a very erect foot.
Okay, so I've got Dan Fudge's cat.
Brown or white sugar?
White.
Are they them artisan ones or them really square ones?
Do you want to listen to me? I'm just saying, right? We've
I'd
had
like artisan brown one, to be fair.
Jesus, do you know what?
They don't effervesce though. You just end up, once you finish your brew, it's just sat there at the bottom. Bloody crap!
You just look nicer, don't you?
Well,
Victoria, my darling.
Sorry, Vic. What were we talking about?
I was just saying, right, we've won that many games on the bounce. The first time in however many years. 20 years nearly now, 16 years, something like that. 24 years, right? So before I was born was the last time we won this many. was the last time we won this many games on the trot. Is anyone not getting a little bit nervous about that? Because I'm starting to feel like if we're piling up these sugar cubes in a tower, it's starting to sway. And I almost feel like, do we not want to just draw on Sunday just so we've broken that and we can start piling the sugar cubes again? I don't know. I don't know if that's me. It worries me. It worries me that we're at that level.
It just turned into...
I agree with you. I agree with you. 7 wins on the bounce. Yeah, in it. 7 wins, and then another one to make sure we get there. Then one at Wembley. That's potentially 9 wins we're asking of our team, and I think, it is a big ask.
It's more
However,
than that, isn't it? It's more than that now.
However,
10 wins.
However, I believe that the last game means shit all to the next game. Unless, do you know what I mean? Like, what difference does it make that we've won 6 on the bounce? I mean, it's just a figure. It's just a number bouncing around.
Superstition, I feel like 7 is so high that can we possibly reach? Because in theory, we need to hit 11, don't we, to get to the Premier League? No. It's got to be another 4.
But we don't, do we? Because we can easily afford to draw the away leg in the playoffs.
Well, yeah,
and win the home leg. So all we need to do is win one more, win the 7th one, and that guarantees that we've got an away leg first in the playoffs.
So we've got Fulham first, right?
Yeah, win that.
So win that, yeah.
And then we can afford to have the draw in the next game.
But I don't know. I can't.
I need to remind you at this point of the stat from a year ago. When and you all kicked off at me for this, but I pointed out that no team has won promotion in the playoffs from the Championship to the Premier League, having lost or not won their last game of the regular season. And that's why I kicked off about all the changes we made at Wolves last year, and we lost and we didn't get promoted. So I will make the same point this time around that for reasons of momentum, it's dead important that we that we do the business on Saturday.
I'm with James.
I'm just so nervous about it. I just feel like it's swaying a bit, and it's like
it doesn't matter.
Can we keep it up? I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with James to an extent. I do. I agree with you, James. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about
Team James. Team James.
Let's not go crazy. However, had this been 2 or 3 years ago before Chancery, before the way Carlos runs his team, I'd have been lambasting because I'm not a big fan of international breaks, especially when you hit a bit of form and then international break kicks in. Mm-hmm. Since Carlos has come in, international breaks seem to have done better for us. Even when they've broken up our momentum a little bit, because of the fast-paced nature and the way we play football and the focus on fitness that we have as a team, I think resting a couple of players against Fulham will be able to give, a couple of the players, not 10, look at Huddersfield, but a few of the players, their own international break, as it were. A week off in order to get in the gym and get running, get on the cardio, that sort of thing. Rest any little knocks, any little niggles they've got, and then start again. And give them their own mini international break. What do you reckon?
I think any more than 2 changes and we'll get fined by the bloody football league, won't we? So I think we need to go for it. Just play our normal game like we need to win it next. We get 3 points. Because surely, if you think about if we finish between 3rd and 5th, might be £1 million as well in kind of finishing prizes. So it could be worth quite a bit of money.
Though, isn't it,
that's only Jordan Rhodes' left foot, isn't it? That's not that.
We probably need to address the slight elephant in the room on this subject, which is, could it actually be to our advantage to not win on Sunday? Because chances are, if we win on Sunday,
that's what I'm saying,
then we're going to be playing Fulham again in the playoff semi-final. Because if we beat them, they'd definitely finish 6th. I think they can only finish 6th anyway, can't they? I don't think they can finish anywhere other than 6th. So if we win, chances are we're going to finish 3rd, or there's a very good chance that we'll finish 3rd and therefore be playing Fulham in the semi-finals. Now, me and my mates have talked a lot about this, particularly in the car on the way back from Ipswich, and we said that we fancy our chances of beating Fulham in a single game on a neutral ground more than we fancy our chances of beating Fulham over 2 legs. We might have to accept the fact that we're probably going to have to beat them if we're going to get promoted, either in the semis or in the final, but I'd rather it be in the final.
It's just all a bit much, isn't it? It's making me go a bit antsy. I'm getting a bit scratchy. Oh,
a bit scratchy.
Surely finishing fourth and playing Huddersfield in the semis is better for us.
A bit scratchy. There's a cream you can have for that. It's called Vermigil.
Where's he playing these days?
Preston, I think. But I don't know if I agree with you, James, because I wouldn't want to play a London team in London. I'd rather have, if I had the choice, Huddersfield down in Wembley, because they've got no idea what it's like. They won't have a bloody clue what Wembley's like, especially their fans. And you know what ours are like? We'll batter them. We've spanked Huddersfield twice already this season.
Didn't they win in a playoff final about 5 years ago?
Now, what was that, to get out of Vanarama? Bugger them.
No, that was to get on League One, I believe, out of the pub league.
Nah, sod them. I'd rather have Huddersfield that we've beat twice already.
Whatever we're worrying about, we're going to beat any of them.
But
so
who do you want in the semis then?
Reading.
So you want Reading in the semis? Can that even happen? I suppose it can. Can't it?
I think third, fourth, and fifth are all.
All right. So Reading in the semis. So you think that Huddersfield, who lost 4-1 at home to Fulham a couple of weeks ago, you think that they could beat Fulham in the playoff semis?
I reckon they'll do a big part of the bus job on them. That Wagner at Fulham has done a hell of a job down there, and I would rather have Huddersfield. Not Wagner at Fulham. Wagner at Huddersfield has done a hell of a job there, and I would rather have them at Wembley and have Reading in the semis, because Reading, even at home, played very negative football, and we were there, weren't we? And they played, and we lost 2-1. Now, if you think back to that game, they only had about 4 shots on goal, and we were absolutely, especially that last 10 minutes, we were camped in their half, which is, even at their own ground, even in their own backyard, they still play anti-football. And if you look at, in terms of the form over April, I'd rather go there than Fulham.
Honestly,
I don't necessarily disagree with you on that. I can't move away from this kind of theory in my mind that in order to get to the Premier League, we're going to have to beat Fulham.
Doesn't matter. The thing is, the difference between this Wednesday team now and that Wednesday team then was, at that point, we had a lot of injury problems. Carlos was stringing people together maybe where they shouldn't be. We've spoke on the podcast lots and lots of times about teams parking the bus and all that kind of nonsense, which is what Mick tried to do again on Saturday. But we've now got those players back. We've now got Kieran Lee back, and we saw what happens when Kieran Lee's in the team. He breaks down with Barry Bannon. That's that parking the bus element of it. He runs through goals. That goal he scored, he hardly even touched the ball. It's that brilliant Kieran Lee finish that he does. You don't even realise he's there. Nobody even realised he kicked the damn thing because he just carried on running. It's brilliant at that kind of thing. And now Carlos... now Carlos has got these options again. It doesn't matter who we play, because Carlos has got all the tactics. He's got all his playbook that he can go at now, and he didn't have that early on in the season.
Lord H, I'm completely with you. I think we're reading far too much in who, where, when. All we've got to make sure is that Wednesday turn up, we play well, we win, kind of, draw if we need to. I'd rather go for the win each time. Just four wins. That's all we need between now and the end of the season.
And I think the thing is as well, semi-final games are not like your regular league game, are they? It's almost like a derby every time because everyone's up for it. And we can't look over our shoulder now. We don't need to, because the worst we can finish is 5th. That is the absolute worst, which is just unbelievable. So
hang on. Out of the 5 of us, me and James are agreeing that there needs to be some guy we're trying to pick, and you 3 are saying that
whatever.
It don't matter.
We've just got to win it, haven't we? We've just got to win.
Worry about ourselves.
Or draw on Sunday and then win the next 3.
Nobody can come to a semi-final and park the bus. Not in the first leg. And that's exactly what we want. People that do park the bus, yes, we have struggled, but we now have tactics to get around that now. Kieran Lee's back in the team again. But they can't do that on a semi-final. Everybody's got to come at us. If they want to win, they've got to come at us. And that plays directly into our hands, which is chuffing fantastic.
Yes, I think
come what may, we'll batter the chuffers, whoever they are.
I mean, what we've got and what we are not forgetting, but does seem to be forgetting by a lot of the media, is that we are the form team. Everybody's banging on about Fulham because they've snuck in the back door. Fulham must be sat going, shit, have you seen how many Sheffield Wednesday have got? I do not fancy them right now. And there's a little Fulham podcast in a cottage somewhere or a shed where they're sat there going, all right, my old governor, I can't believe we might have Sheffield Wednesday this week and the week after. Oh, my God. Oh.
Do you think they'll be eating jelly deals while they
Is that got Cotton that's on that podcast?
Yeah, I've got two Cockney voices. One of them's Doc Cotton, and I think the other one's Albert Steptoe. Where him and his son go, "That's the old man." Harold is the same voice as Doc Cotton, but it's a bit it's the same voice. That's all I've got.
But I mean, looking back at, obviously, as you mentioned there, I think it's great that we sort of fly under the radar. We did it last season. Nobody saw us coming, and we sort of glided into playoffs. Yes, obviously the ending wasn't what we wanted, but it came and it went. And this is exactly the same. There was a cracking tweet by friend of the show, Lewis Shackshaft, a cracking for stats as well. And at the moment, Wednesday are actually joint top in the world for form. There in the entire chuffing world, which is incredible. And so let them blab about Fulham.
Who we joined top with? Out of curiosity.
If you want me to find the tweet, spare me a second or two. No, I'm not gonna. But there's lots and lots and lots of teams. I think there's about 9 actually, if I'm perfectly honest. But we are joint top with 9 other teams in the entire world on the world form table at the moment. So let them flap the gums about Fulham. I don't care. Let us fly under the radar, and then we'll just hit them where it hurts when it counts. Just quickly dragging it back to the Ipswich game, if I may. I apologise, the boys and girls. But
can we talk about Ipswich away?
Carlos's celebrations at the end. How good was that? Seriously, how can you not like that guy?
Honestly, I had tears in my eyes. And it had been, it'd been a fairly hard going afternoon anyway, because of the fact that it looked like we weren't going to get the goal. But Leeds were screwing things up, so emotionally it had been a bit up and down and stuff like that. And obviously the fans always kind of do this whenever we win. They try and get the players to do the thing where they're flinging their arms up in the air, but it's only really Dave who does it, and he didn't feature on Saturday. And you could hear some fans trying to do it again, and the players were kind of walking off, and then Carlos just comes kind of marching up, and it was pure emotion from him. And I think that he would still be doing that now if the fans would have carried on. It was a good kind of 10 times or something, wasn't it? If
my favourite thing about that, James, was I screenshotted the Sheffield Star uploaded a video of that was from the crowd, and I screenshotted because someone at the bottom who was like, Chris SWFC for Evs or whatever, but he's only copying Wilder. It's like, oh no.
And that sort of punch he did at the end, when he just like the whole thing just flowed out of him into the. Oh, I'm sorry, but if anybody's listening to this and is still going about Carlos out, you need your bumps felt. You really, really do. There's something wrong.
Lord H, I've just found your tweet from Louis, and we're 10th in the table.
Joint 10th.
No, just 10th.
Sorry
to piss on your chips.
It may well have changed since Louis sent the tweet. Probably. But if you look at the tweet that Lewis sent, then at that point we were joint top in the.
I'll retweet it now so everybody can see it.
Oh, you know what? You're turning into Fudge. You. What the chuffing hell's wrong with you? We're trying to get everybody going for the playoff finals.
Listen, I weren't going to bring this up until the end, but do you think, and I've not got any opinion on it at the minute, which may shock you, but do you think Carlos would be in trouble if we don't get promoted, given the money we've spent? And the fact that we've not got any further forward than what we did last season.
Shall we save that conversation for when it happens? Let's enjoy.
I'll have a big rant. I'll have a big rant ready for it if we have
Let's get through the playoffs. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy this lovely.
I think he might be.
Shut your miserable face. Let's enjoy this lovely feeling. Stop trying to spoil us being nice, settled, the playoffs. Okay, we're in a wonderful position. You two, I'm sorry, I've been kept my mouth shut for the last few podcasts now. You miserable gets. Stop your moaning. Let's enjoy this. Let's just enjoy. Wonderful.
Team H.
I was going to say, I didn't hear your tambourine clapping away in the background there, Lord H.
Here's a question. Where would you find all of the following in one place? Chairs, tables, beer, Vic, James, more beer, Dick Yow, Eddie, more beer, and the rest of the Wednesday week gang. That's right, it's the Riverside Cafe's new outside bar. All of your favourite lagers, ciders, soft drinks and hand pump ales are now available outside. Come and see the gang and give it a try. The Riverside Cafe's new outside bar. Now open on match days.
Right then, ladies and gents, so let's crack on, shall we? Some Wednesday news. In fact, let's not start with Wednesday's news. Let's start with podcast news. We've got a little bit of announcement. Fudge or Bean, I believe you're going to be involved in the...
Yeah. I wish I was.
Oh, congratulations, Dan Fudge.
Yeah.
We can expect the pity-patted little Fudges. Oh, God, that's a terrifying thought.
Hang on, no.
No, let's not that.
I'm not pregnant. Do not
Sean's
send me any
literally
congratulations.
putting on a chastity belt as we speak.
But what you will be doing, Fudge, is being involved in the Reds Blues charity match.
Yes, I'd like to thank Vic for this one.
Hello.
She tagged me in the lineup, and I think I wrote something flippant like, "I'm gay for this lineup. Can I do one for the bench?" And all of a sudden, I'm now in a Facebook conversation. I'm now playing in this bloody game. Now, as a result, being now regular listeners to this show will know that I wax lyrical about my prowess at centre back at Sunday Morning Football. You can now come and witness this live. While I endeavour to make money for charity whilst not making a bit of a clown of myself. So if you want to bring some gas and air, some bottles of Lucozade, if you do have a portable stretcher and one of them walking sticks that turns into a seat, please come along.
Or equally, if anybody does want to see Fudge get nutmegged or kicked up in the air, I do know a couple of the Reds side fairly well, and we can arrange that also.
To be honest, there's a strong chance that Fudge will be playing next to his now well-established chum, Mr. Peacock. And to be honest, I'm sure Mr. Peacock would rather enjoy taking it around Fudge a few times as well.
Can you imagine that? He won't. Fudge won't be able to do anything. He'll just be holding like his toiletry bag and everything while Peaks does everything.
Wait, before you take the shot, do you want me to hold your coat?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there is a cracking opportunity for a photo there, isn't there, of me just holding Lee's coat while we sub him or something like that.
Just really a towel to mop his brow with. That'd be absolutely amazing, Fudge.
Last year, Dan Fudge, you didn't make it, and Lord Hillsborough, you didn't either, but the rest of us went along, and we all filmed a few interviews on the day and stuff, and we got some really nice stuff with Johan Foley and Miguel Yera, and it would be brilliant, absolutely brilliant, if me and James could interview you and Lee Peacock while you hold his stuff.
I'll just hold his hand.
Everything, just hold all of his stuff.
Stand behind him.
Through the interview, he just keeps piling stuff into your hands. So he just can't see you anymore.
If he just gets
behind some giant Tupperware.
I'm going to make you into a human buckaroo. I swear to God.
Yeah. I think Fudgeroo has already been
Fudgeroo.
Yeah.
But there is a more serious side to this. Of course, the reason we're doing this is essentially to raise money for charity, Albeen. So
yes.
If people want to throw some shekels into your pot, where can we do that, Albeen?
Well, I've only shared the link once actually, so I do need to get bang on the link sharing a bit more, if I'm honest. So yes, we're raising money for the Royal British Legion Stanington branch. We're raising money for them. I will tweet the link for my Just Giving because when I suggested is it set up on Just Giving, they didn't know what that was, and so I think I'm the only one that's getting money via that way. And everybody else is doing the old school Bob a Job kind of thing where they're all walking around to their nan saying, "Will you sponsor me for this football game?" Do you know what I mean? As far as my understanding, unless Just Giving it has made it up north, and I'm just working with a load of people who don't know what the internet is. I don't know.
To put it out there, Dan Fudge's Just Giving link is justgiving.com/Dan-Fudge. So Dan-Fudge. There you go. You can go and give some money.
Yeah, whatever happened to the dash, by the way? When did we start calling it the hyphen? I didn't get that email.
It was originally hyphen, and then lower class people started calling it the dash.
At least I'm on your chuffy website, Fudge.
It's a dash, isn't it?
I didn't know what, you know. I just got internet myself.
It's to help solve the confusion between dash and slash. You know, it's a real
is that
problem.
What it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to run off for a dash. But yes, but no, if you do have a few shekels or two, and of course, please do search the Reds vs Blues charity game on the internet as well. It is going to be an absolutely fantastical day. So if you can get along, please do so and cheer on Mr. Fudge. I think we need some Fudge chants for the day as well. So please do send in your suggestions.
Pull down your chants.
Oh, fucking hell are you?
Yeah. Can we have like we used to do parodies for some of the players? Can we have one of them for me? You know what I mean? Like,
I can't see if we make something up with your surname, or
You're just a shitly peacock.
The best you'll get is Fudge. Is that really your surname?
Yeah, I'll get that lot. Is it going to be written on the back of a shirt?
We must make it happen. We'll get you a little sign to stick on the back there.
Right.
I think if you recall Fudge, I did come up with a song for you. I think it was at Fulham away last year. Which I got a good half dozen people joining in with. We could try and get that one off the ground.
Even the Fulham fans were bloody joining in. I'm walking through bloody Putney, and I've got he should have been gay. He should have been gay. Dan Fudge, he should have been gay. Brilliant. Cheers, Cockneys.
That's that all done and dusted then. Right. There you go, ladies and gents. If you are attending, there's your song for Mr. Fudge. Right, then let's crack on, shall we? Next thing, the Wednesday news. Of course, there was a rather special guest at the Ipswich Wednesday game. 101-year-old Jesse Webb attended that game, got to meet Carlos, etc., etc. His first game at Hillsborough, bless him, was in 1924. Now, I've tried to do a little bit of research on the team from 1924, and even the internet can only spill up 4 names there for me. So
wasn't Dan Fudge there?
Yeah, they were singing about how we should have been gay.
But no, I think absolutely. I mean, how amazing must. I mean, we think that we're sort of grumpy old sods talking about the 90s and things, but obviously our parents talk about the 70s, etc., etc. But imagine being able to talk about the 30s watching Wednesday. It's just flabbergasting, isn't it? It really, really is. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And of course, we won for the chap as well. So brilliant. So you see now what needs to happen. Obviously, James has got his trainers, Richie's got his pants, Fudge has got his various different haircuts that he wears for good luck. And now we just need to make sure that Jesse gets to every game for the rest of the season on there for us. Brilliant. Running's done. Sorted. Next thing on the agenda, James, Man of the Year. I know this is one of your favourites, Albin. This is going to be...
Man of the... I like it. It's quite profound, isn't it? Man of the Year.
Man of the Year. As most other media outlets call it, Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But we don't subscribe to those stereotypes, do we, Jamesy?
No.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so it's up and running, and it's interesting, this, isn't it? Because... it's not like a one-horse race, as I think it probably has been, maybe not last season, but for the seasons before. Basically, it was Kieran Westwood or Chris Kirkland, depending which one of them played the most games, wasn't it? We've not had a kind of like a genuine sort of race to be our Man of the Year for a while. So it's interesting watching on kind of social media, people discussing it today, people tweeting who they're going to vote for. It looks like Sam Hutchinson and Ross Wallace seems to be the two front runners. I am definitely Team Hutch on this one. He's got my vote, but it's going to be interesting to see who wins.
Yeah, Hutch has had my vote in this one, and one of the kids voted earlier. He had Westwood down. For...
Well, I was going to say, because I think probably Lord H, you've probably gone for Westwood as well.
Or George Hurst.
But Sam Hutchinson, for me, don't get me wrong, has been outstanding. but he's not played enough for me. I think that Westwood edges it over Hutchinson just on sheer games played.
Mm. It is the most number of games in a season that Hutch has ever played in his career.
Yeah, but it's still, 20? Still only half a season, isn't it?
It's more than that.
I don't know. So somebody not going to Google a stat for us, for me to be whingy on this, and for me to mourn.
That'd be far too professional for this show to actually do some research before we did it. I think, again, being the keeper lover I am, my vote goes to Westwood. It really, really does. I think he's just been outstanding.
This is the first vote I've done that hasn't gone for like Herbie Manuelson or just for the lols. I thought, no, do you know what? For Man of the Season, I'm going to have to put in some effort here.
Well, it's difficult because I did have a bit of a tweet from Mr. Gill, obviously a friend of the show, who said that Semedo is there on the list. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe a cheeky little vote for Semedo and just give him some... Because Semedo's going to be around about the club for a while.
Don't say it. Do not go there. Don't go there. No one wants to think it. That's like having an elderly grandparent every Christmas when they say, "Oh, next year, next year I might not be here."
I don't think Semedo's going to be dead.
This evening, somebody I know is interviewing Semedo for Saturday's programme, and that is one of his questions.
What do you think this will be your last run out
next year?
Yeah. Is this going to be your last run out for Wednesday, pretty much? Yeah.
By the way, I owe you an apology, James. I don't normally retract many, but Sam Hutchinson has played 32 times this season.
Yeah.
And Barry Bannon has played more than Kieran Westwood, which I find astounding. He's done 44 to Westwood's 43.
Is there? And you're going to think I'm being stupid by saying this. Is there a shout for Jordan Rhodes? On the basis that, I don't know if you saw this stat earlier on.
Yes, I saw this stat, yeah.
Since Jordan Rhodes joined us, we've not scored a single goal when he's not been on the pitch. We scored 11 goals through April, and all 11 of them were while Jordan Rhodes was on the pitch, which is crazy.
I want to see the same stat for New Hugh. I want to see that. I reckon it's exactly the same.
Let's not go there, yeah.
I can probably guess at that stat for you, Vic. You're not going to like it.
One goal for Kosovo.
Doesn't matter. Jordan Rhodes hasn't scored many goals. It's just the goals that have been scored whilst he's been on the pitch, which is...
Exactly, my lord.
It has to be said, an amazing stat. It really, really is. The first, just to give a bit of a shout out, the first person that I saw tweet that was Grant Roberts over there on Twitter. So that was the first place I saw it. I know it's been doing the rounds a bit on there as well. But no, it is an incredible stat, isn't it?
I love that. I love that Jordan Rhodes is like the blues player, where you have to listen for the notes that they don't play. So Jordan Rhodes, the striker, is getting kudos for the goals he's not scored. Well done.
Yeah, but it's a bit like the discussions that we had last season when we went through a period of about, a month and a half or so, before he came really good, where there were people saying that Gary Hooper's a waste of space. Yeah. And then there were people, and I was one of them, saying that Gary Hooper's movement off the ball, what he does, creates space for other people to score goals. And Jordan Rhodes is very similar. I can completely see how someone on paper would be able to say, well, Jordan Rhodes has been a flop at Sheffield Wednesday. He's only scored, 3 goals that he scored for us? It might even be less than that. It might even be 2. And we signed him. You spend £10 million on a striker, you expect them to score goals, but the work rate that he's put in, and I think we talked about this a couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
The stats speak for themselves. The fact that during April, it was a goal every 33 minutes while he was on the pitch. That's an astonishing stat.
Hang on. Whoa. I had exactly the same conversation about Dave, saying how wonderfully he did his off the ball work, and everybody says, "Oh yeah, but he doesn't score goals and there's a strike."
No. You've mixed it up there, Lord.
No, I'm not. That's exactly the same point.
Gary Hooper and Jordan Rhodes do it very well. Martin New is just a big fat potato with deep set eyes that stare into your soul.
Exactly. And he scares the chuff out of people. He absolutely destroys. We've seen him when he needs to score goals. No. When he needs to score goals, he scores them. We saw him. He did it against Kosovo. There was no other striker in that team, so we thought, well, seems I'm here, I'll score a goal.
It's only took you to 1 hour and 2 minutes of this podcast to start going a bit delusional.
No, because
you've been all right this week.
Exactly the same argument that I make about Dave that James has just made about Jordan Rhodes.
I remember your argument about the Reading game when we should have whooped him.
Oh, you know what? We're going to have serious contract negotiations.
Oh, we are.
Back on this podcast.
We will do.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to think, people are going to start referring to Eddie as the Lewis McGugan of the podcast, aren't they?
Eddie McGugan, I like
that. Sounds like he should be on a ski jump, which is quite often. I love it, brilliant.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, a wedding or anniversary, Maybe you've passed your driving test, or you've landed a new job. Well, whatever your reason for a party, the Riverside Cafe is the perfect location on Catch Bar Lane overlooking Hillsborough Stadium. To inquire about hiring us for your function, call 07989 856 054 or 0114 232 6121.
Right then, ladies and gents. So let's crack on with the upcoming Fulham game. Obviously, we've had a little bit of a waffle about this, but again, down to the sort of brass tacks, nail it on the head. What do you guys want to see? Do you want?
Can I ask you a question, Lord Age?
Fire away.
Would you take a point?
Honestly,
yes.
No.
Oh, come on! You'd have me for this one if I said yes to that question.
No football team should ever take a point, especially when we're in this wonderful position that we're in now. A lot of the other teams in this particular situation might say, yes, you know what, play some of the subs, we'll take a point. But look at our subs bench. Look at it. We're bringing on Fessy and Jordan Rhodes last few games. We don't need to take a point. We can quite happily canter on with our beautiful, beautiful football that we're playing. And Fulham will probably want to take a point. I am fully expecting them to park the bus and take a point, because they're not going to want to get destroyed at Hillsborough for their playoff run. So I would be more than expecting Fulham to be happy to take a point. We don't need to. We could destroy them. The crowd alone, a sellout crowd, could blow the ball into the back of the net. We are going to be on fire at Hillsborough. And I think if we drub them 10-0, it just sort of plants our flag in the ground before we move on to the playoffs, doesn't it?
Do you know what, though? If we beat them 12-0, and I think Leeds have to win 4-0, is it? And then they're in the playoffs. So how good would it be if we were winning 12-0 and Tom Lees just went, nah, fuck this, and just toe-coat an own goal over the line? Wouldn't that just be genius? Wouldn't it? Just toe it in. That's all we need, Tom.
This is going to sound ridiculous, but this is literally the only fixture of the season where I would go, do you know what? Let's have a start with Jose Semedo. Let's get him out there. Given the big rant I went on the other week. But get him out there.
Surely, my lord, there's got to be a call for Mr. Hurst.
Unfortunately, we did have the same discussion, but we did receive a tweet saying that Mr. Hurst has also tweeted, because they also have their playoff the day after our playoffs. So unfortunately, it looks like Carlos is going to rest Mr. Hurst for the Fulham game so he can play with the under-23s. Plus,
and he can start at Wembley.
Yeah, let's face it. If young Mr. Hurst played and stuck, let's say, an average of 8 past Fulham, then it's going to give Carlos a selection headache for the actual playoff run as well, isn't he?
You're going delusional again.
He's got enough of a headache. Listen, I've had that tattoo on my back. Trust me, that boy's going to be fantastic for us. Otherwise, my back's going to look rather silly. But no, I honestly think that we should play our game against Fulham. I think we should really plant our flag into the ground. Hillsborough is going to be immense, isn't it, on Sunday? It's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
It will be. I think it's going to be. It's kind of party time, isn't it? It's such a shame that it's a lunchtime kickoff, because I think if it was a normal 3:00 game and everyone, a lot of the fans have had a few beers first, and it'd be just that really nice atmosphere.
You talking about lots of fans, or just yourself here, James?
Just me and my mates, really. But
just me, you don't.
Yeah, we can get an atmosphere going between the three of us. It'd be fine. So yeah, I mean, it will be kind of like Party Central, won't it? It'll be a really good atmosphere. It doesn't really matter what happens on the pitch, does it? We know that we're in the top 5. I imagine there'll be a lot of people tapping away on phones, working out the different permutations as the goals go in here, there, and everywhere, and we'll see what happens.
I think on that note as well, we have to say to everyone, please, please, please try and get along to the Riverside Cafe, because it is going to be a party. It is. Like, no matter what happens, it's going to be awesome. So please come along. We'll be there from probably 10:30, 11, 10:30. Anyone?
Well, I'm going to be in the New Barrack Tavern at 8:00.
Oh God.
And then heading over to the Riverside about 10.
Yeah.
I can only assume that you're going to be the new Barrett talent from 8 o'clock because you've given so much advertising on this podcast when we do have a paid sponsor on this podcast that they're going to
I'm
be
just
feeding
telling you
you
like it
free
is.
beer.
Do you know what? If the Riverside Cafe was open at 8, I'd be in there. But it doesn't. So yeah, that's my plan.
No, we love the Barrett.
Basically I have a problem. You know, I'm honest and open about it. I need my first beer of the day at 8 in the morning.
Are you having a vegetarian breakfast?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Or are you just taking some leafy salad in a box?
I'll just have 2 eggs. It's fine.
Right.
They're vegetarian eggs.
Vegetarian eggs, yeah. Like the vegetarian chip butty.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So after obviously we've stuffed Fulham, we'll be on to the playoffs, and obviously we'll sort out all the ramifications of what happens on Sunday in the next show as well. Right. So before we disappear, boys and girls, do you guys have any little bits for this evening?
Just one thing that I want to mention, which is the news that broke actually on Sunday afternoon. I was on a pub crawl with my workmates on Sunday afternoon when Sheffield Wednesday confirmed the pricing for the home leg of the playoff game. So I sent them a very emotional tweet after I'd had a few beers, just saying how amazing I think it is that they've stuck with the £20 pricing from last year. But I think it's absolutely fantastic because last year was just something a little bit special, and I kind of in my head sort of thought they'll not do it again this year. It's going to be like 30 quid, maybe 35 or something. So the fact that it's £20 is superb. And can I also say how great it is that reaching the playoffs means that we have the return of the SWFC ticket with no S on the end Twitter account, which after a year of being dormant has reappeared as amusing as it was a year ago. So whoever is responsible for that, thank you.
My favourite one was someone kicking off that he could buy his tickets now because he had a season ticket, but what about his kids? They don't have a season ticket. And it just quoted them and said, well, time to choose, football or your children.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
There was a chap as well that sent this wonderfully sort of complicated message about he's been to 8 games this season and he's got so many priority points and this and this. And he said, and when do I get my tickets? And he just tweeted back saying, I don't know. That was brilliant. Absolutely love the chap. Whoever that is, I would thoroughly like to shake their hand. It's absolutely hilarious.
Do you know the good thing about this ticket pricing as well is that everybody I've spoken to, like I booked the tickets on Monday, yesterday. I booked the tickets for me, my mum, my dad, my other half. I was like, oh, I'll just go on and do it now. It's fine. And even people, and it wasn't just my dad, it's everybody who I've spoken to has gone, ain't that a good price though, eh? Wouldn't have expected that. And everyone seems to have forgotten that that's how much it was last season. We're all just so amazed at how cheap it is this season. It's great.
I absolutely saw this as an opportunity because I think 20 quid's great and it's costing a £5 for the kids, which is absolutely, so 30 quid for the three of us is brilliant. But I saw this as an opportunity to wind up my tight-arsed brother, who would whinge if he paid £1. In fact, a few years ago, when his season ticket, when he charged you £1 to send it out, because he had to go and collect it, he asked for £1 refund on his season ticket. That's how tight my brother is. And when he said they were going to put it in charity, he said, well, I'd like to have the choice to do that. But anyway, I wound him up, rang him up, told him 50 quid. And the torrent of abuse I got and that he was never going to watch it, he wasn't going, etc., was great. I'll let it roll for a short while until I told him I was winding him up.
You should have said, I'll buy you one for your Christmas box. And that would have just got you out of buy for Christmas as well. There, Rich, I'll be spot on. So. Do you guys have any other little bits for this evening?
Speaking of wind-ups, Lord H, just flicking through my emails there, and somebody has signed me up for singlemuslims.co.uk. Cheers, lads.
Wasn't me.
Someone subscribed me to the Simply Red newsletter a few years ago, and I never found out who it was.
I love it. Absolutely fantastic. I would like
stuff I'm going to sign you up to now, James. You're going to get free artificial grass every day of the week.
The worst thing about the Simply Red thing is this was the days before they had to have an unsubscribe link on, so there was nothing that I could do about it. I just had to sit as this bloody horrible ginger head pops up every day. So one other quick thing from me, which is, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm going back a couple of months ago or so when we were talking about a guy called Ian Tootill, who's a Wednesday fan, lives down south. He beat cancer a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, it's come back and it's terminal, and he wants to be the first person with cancer who climbs Everest. He posted his first update a few days ago where, excuse me, him and the guys that he's working with they've been acclimatizing for a month now, where they kind of climb so far up and then come back down, and it's working towards them getting ready for the final ascent, which is going to be at the end of May, so it's getting very, very close. I have to point out the fact that he'd set a fundraising target of £29,100, and Ian has now raised £31,387, so he smashed his target.
Amazing.
Raising some seriously good money for Macmillan, and he's well on track to achieve just what is a totally awesome goal. So best of luck to Ian for the next few weeks as he gets ready for his big ascent, and I'll keep you up to date with how he gets on.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. I just would like to give a little shout out for my tweet of the week as well, which I thought was absolutely, well, there's actually two, I must admit. The first one was from Terry Rowe, or at Rowe_tweet over there on Twitter, who he's rather well known for his work with Photoshop, shall we say. So he popped a little tweet out after the game saying that unfortunately calendar has been cancelled this evening, and in its place he had pasted in War of the Monster Trucks, which of course being Wednesday nights we understand what that joke means, because it has to be said, Leeds didn't quite reach the playoffs, did they, boys and girls? And calendar have been known to be.
Did you notice that?
Isn't it Andy Rowe?
Oh, I apologise.
Sorry, don't give him the wrong name. You're giving him his first shout out that he's deserved in age.
Did you notice that? Look North actually replied to the tweet as well.
Yes, that was the most hilarious part of it. Look North replied to Andy's tweet saying, "Apologies, please do join us at 6:20. We'll have all of the region's news. We'll also have our engineers look into the error." It was fantastic. I can only imagine that's some sort of 20-year-old chap that has no idea.
It would have been even better if somebody had hacked into Sky's. It was Sky's TV guide, wasn't it? Somebody had hacked into it and changed it. That would have been even funnier.
It might have taken a little bit more technical nous to hack into.
Yes, I'm sure it's possible.
But it was a brilliant tweet, and my hat off to the chap. Honestly, it made me lol immensely.
Is the same guy doing the Look North? Is it the same guy that's doing the football highlights on Channel 5? Is it the same geezer? Because there didn't seem to be a mention of Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday. Did anybody see this?
There was very little, wasn't there? Very little indeed, which is great. Again, I don't mind. Let us fly under the radar. Crouching tiger, hidden owl. It's going to be fantastic when we jump up out of there. It's going to be brilliant. Love it. Can't wait. Second tweet of the week, because it's been a very good tweet of the week this week, is for a chap. And originally, I didn't know who this was. Have you guys seen the picture of AJ sort of with his arms in the air and somebody's wonderfully photoshopped in a Wednesday scarf in there as well, which was hilarious, made me laugh. So I just popped a little tweet out saying whoever's in this comedy genius. And we had a reply from a chap on Twitter at PhilCuts4, who just deserves a shout out for that Photoshop work. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. How good was that? And of course, massive congratulations to AJ as well, which is brilliant. You guys watched the fight?
I was there.
You was there?
I was there.
You were there?
No. Yeah, I was there.
Are you winding me up?
No, I was there. I got sat next to an Aston Villa fan and a couple of lads in front of me, because I don't know if you realise this, but you know when you go to the pub when the football's on, or you go to the pub when the rugby's on, or you go to the pub when the boxing's on. In terms of...
I'll go to the pub if it's a day ending in Y for you, Fudge.
Yeah, well, I think the ascendancy in what type of dickhead you get in the pub, for me it goes football, rugby, boxing, in terms of, who I don't want to drink with. Now, football, these are my people. I know they are, and I know we can be rowdy, but I know how to handle myself with these dickheads. The second dickheads are rugby wankers, which are a different type of person for me. These are the ones that big posh snobs with plums in their mouths, and then you've got your boxing fan. Now, I was surrounded by 90,000 of these people. And, oh, my life. You know, I wanted to be there. I wanted to suck it all in, and I wanted to absolutely just embrace it all. But, God almighty, it's grim. And they sing the Fernando Forestieri song for Anthony Joshua. Now, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but every other boxer in the world, I think it's Ricky Hatton's fault, gets the "There's only one," insert boxer's name. There's only one, insert boxer's name. Walking along, singing a song, walking in a, insert boxer's name. Wonderland. You know what I mean? But whereas the AJ one is used for Fernando Forestieri. And I thought that he was just full of 90,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans over there who all got really drunk. And and I got some Carlisle fans talking about Gary Medine and his prison team. But that was about it. We had a good day out.
Did you meet AJ at all, Fudge?
I didn't know.
It's surprising you didn't.
Anyone can hang out outside the English Institute of Sport.
There was no hanging out. There was an invite.
It was an invite to hold his coat. Fudgy is treading on your toes, hoping.
I was going to say, whoa.
Well, mate, AJ met me. That's what happened.
And again, just to sort of drag it back to the Wednesdays, if I may, for a moment or two. Did you guys see, obviously, the Instagram from Dave's account while they were travelling down?
How weird is Barry Bannon? What a weirdo!
What's he doing? What is he doing?
He's just going. It's like Dave and who is it in the middle? I forget now. Wallace in the middle. Like sat in the back of this cab, like, yeah, we're on the way to the Anthony Joshua fight. Woo woo!
Well, and then he just like himself, but...
it's like he's on helium.
Yeah, he's just kind of looking at his phone and going, bleh. It's not even a noise.
Love him, absolutely love him.
It was like he just got a like off of some dopey tart that he's followed on Instagram for about 2 years, and you know what I mean? And he's just got a like back.
Shaw's just followed him back.
Yeah, and he's gone, yes!
Right then, ladies and gents, that's going to bring us to an end of this week's proceedings. Victoria, my darling, if people want to get hold of you over there on the interwebs, where can we do that?
You can find me at Victoria1867 on the Twitter, my lord.
Fantastical. Mr. Fudge, Bean, if people want to not just follow you, but find out where to throw their shekels for your charity earnings, where can we do that, old boy?
I'm at Dan Fudge on the Twitterings, and you'll probably find me in a gym in Southampton, singing along to the Eye of the Tiger this next month.
Mr. Davies, old boy, if people want to find you over there on the online age, where can we do that?
You can find me stalking around the EIS for the next few months at 7:15 every morning, and you can also find me at Dickie Owl on Twitter.
Fantastic. Mr. Marriott, old boy, where can people find you over there on the online?
On Twitter, at James Marriott, or in various and many pubs on Sunday.
Fantastic. Of course, if you'd like to find me over there on the Tinterwebs, you can do that at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. You can also follow the podcast at TWWcast as well. And of course, find us in all the usual places, on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, and everywhere else you can find that kind of thing as well. Ladies and gents, it has been a pleasure as always. Enjoy the Fulham game. Never mind these two Mardy asses on here. Go, have fun, shout for the team, enjoy yourselves. It's a wonderful, wonderful time to be a Wednesday night, no matter what anybody says. Be good, be safe, and we shall see you
real soon.
There's a chance here.